Hello and welcome back to the Owen Glendower Model Railway. In this video we'll be performing two types of maintenance that could maintain the longevity of your prized model locomotives for many years in the future. For this task we'll be needing two simple tools such as this. This is a fiberglass pencil which you could easily find in places such as Gauge Master, which this one is. You can find it on their website or in many model stores across the country or online with Amazon or eBay. This is a very easy to use device and you can just simply turn it and the fiberglass tip will go up, and if you turn it in the opposite direction it will come in. It's very easy to operate. If someone like me, someone with pretty much almost no form of experience in maintaining model locomotives, finds it easy to use, you pretty much will find it easy to use as well. As well as that, we have this. This is an oil pen. You can find this on Gauge Master's website or Amazon or eBay or in any model shop throughout the country. It is very easy to operate. Just one simple tip: if you do buy one of these, maintain it while it's up like this. If not, it will leak very easily. For this task, I have gotten my Batman Manor. Dinmore Manor has happily volunteered himself to help me make this here video. We'll start off by cleaning the wheels. When the model locomotive goes around the track, a fine sort of dark black material will form on the wheels. Because I maintain my models as much as I can with what sort of knowledge I have, there's not much here. But if you want, as an example, all you have to do is simply go up and down the wheel with the fiberglass pencil, making sure that there's a good bit out so you could use it. You just go up and down the wheel until it's nice and shiny and clean. It is very important to maintain the wheels are clean at almost at all times, because if not, your locomotive will suffer with poor running, which could cost you a lot in repairs if you do not perform this simple task. As well, it may not be have pickups on them, but it would be a good idea to maintain the bogie wheels if your model has them, because maintaining the bogie wheels on your tender locomotives or tank engines or whatever type of locomotive you have in your collection is very important, because if you don't, it will cause problems for the locomotive down the line. As now, with that done on the loco, this locomotive may not have tender pickups, but is very important to maintain wheels cleanliness on the tender itself. It would help to have the locomotive on the track or a bit of track so you can move it a bit so you could get all of the main driving wheels. But on the tender, it is easy because they're not powered. You can just simply move them around with your finger and thumb. This may take a couple of minutes. It may be a bit boring to perform its tasks, but If you want to enjoy seeing your prized locomotives going around the layout, this simple task is very much essential for your prize and joy in your collection runs beautifully. I've learned not I will admit I'm not an expert in maintenance on my models. Most of the knowledge I've learned so far is from YouTubers as well as my friends down at Lord and Butler and also my friends at the Bespoke GLR services. There it is. Now with that important task done, we shall continue on to the oiling of the valve gear and the axles. You take your oil pen, remove the lid, and as soon as you remove the lid, it starts coming out immediately because it's pretty much free flowing. You go on each part of the valve gear. But be careful because if you put too much oil on, it'd be almost as bad as not having enough oil on it at all. If you don't oil your valve gear on your steam locomotives or your diesels, even you may dry up, and sometimes, sadly, what happened to me with my 7F, the tip of the valve would snap off, causing me to have to buy a new valve set for a locomotive. So maintenance is very important for any model locomotive to maintain the beautiful running of your prized locomotives. As well as, yep, the tender also needs oiling as well, because if you don't oil it, you'll have the tender, if you turn the wheels on the tender to make noises like this. A very horrendous noise and not very nice hearing it going around the layout. And if you do not put oil on these axles, which what happened to me is one of the tips of one of these wheels on my Batman B1 sadly snapped off and was needed to be replaced. The wheels needed to be replaced. You just perform this simple task. It may take a couple of minutes to do. Yeah, it may be boring, but performing this task, it doesn't matter if this locomotive doesn't have tender pickups or not. If you maintain the wheels on all your locomotives, you won't have to take them to be repaired or have to have them repaired yourself. Right, now with that done, we can see the differences of oiling these axles on its tender. Basically, noises have gone away. In some parts, it may need a little bit more oil in other ways, but again, be careful on putting too much oil down because too much may be just as bad as putting no oil at all. That is beautiful, and it's all nice and quiet. I'll put Nimble back on the track, and with that is my basic guide so far. Oh, and before I had silly me, I've forgotten the axles on the wheels. Can't believe I've forgotten this, but hey, I'm only human at the end of the day, and these simple tasks. Sorry that my hand is blocking because you put a little bit of oil at each tab of the axle. Again, don't put too much on, or you could cause problems for your locomotive down the line. Now, let's put it back on the track here. And that concludes my very basic maintenance video. For me, as a beginner in the modeling for model locomotives, there weren't many videos out there for showing simple maintenance on model locomotives. I may not be an expert, but if I could easily perform these tasks, anyone can. That concludes my video on the simple basic maintenance on your model locomotives. Please like, share, and subscribe to the Lone Ranger Motoring channel. All done, and now it's time to say goodbye and see you next time.